that finish line may not be until 2022. We're hearing increasing indications that the vote won't happen before Christmas and that the bill is in trouble. And part of the reason is because of inflation. If you look at the new Fox Business polls, one of the questions here, getting inflation under control, Biden's actions are hurting it at 47%. Biggest issues facing the economy, guess what? Inflation, rising prices at 36%, if we go to the next one, and government spending at 16%. And has inflation caused you financial hardship over the last 6 months? Yes, 67% of those who took part in the poll. Let's bring in our panel. Leslie Marshall, Democratic strategist, Ben Domnich, publisher of The Federalist, and Amy Walter, publisher and editor-in-chief of the Cook Political Report. Amy, I want to start with you. I mean, when you see these numbers, they're stark. I mean, they're just right in your face.
Well, look, I hear these not just from the data that I'm seeing, but I actually hear it from voters that I've been listening to, sitting in a lot of focus groups, even with voters who consider themselves to be Democrats, and they raise the issue about rising prices continually, whether it's filling up their car, whether it's paying for groceries. And so we know this in politics. The most important thing for the White House to get under control is the economy. And obviously, in this case, that's inflation. This right now is eating up so much, not just of the president's approval ratings, it's bringing them down, it's raising frustration among voters, but it's also making it harder for some of the Democrats on the Hill, or really specifically one of those Democrats, Joe Manchin, to go along with the plan, the Build Back Better plan, though I suspect, Bret, that by the time we get to 2022, the pressure is going to be pretty significant on him to give the president a win.
But why, Ben? I mean, I get he's a Democrat. He doesn't want to hurt the president of his party, but he also doesn't want to spend trillions of dollars. He's said that time and time again. It's like they're not listening to him. This is from Politico tonight. The talks between Biden and Manchin have been going very poorly. They are far apart, the source said. Though Manchin and Biden developed a warm rapport this year and collaborated on several prominent pieces of legislation, the plodding pace of the talks between the two Joes is straining their friendly relationship. Frustration among White House aides with Manchin is high and growing, and while Biden likes Manchin personally, he too has grown tired of the elongated talks and will soon push him to make a decision and support the legislation, according to two White House sources. Manchin, it does not seem, is going to support that, and there are real questions whether he's not alone as moderate Democrats concerned about the inflation numbers, Ben.
Indeed, he's at the center of the conversation, but he certainly is not standing alone in terms of his views of this legislation as being dubious when it comes to solving the many problems that are affecting our economy. And I think to that Politico report, rapport doesn't cover a multitude of what Manchin views as sins within this approach. He has had a list of bullet points since the beginning, really, that hasn't changed all that much in terms of how much he wants this legislation to shift in certain directions. And while I understand and agree that, as Amy said, that there's going to be enormous pressure in the coming year for him to budge on this, give Democrats and the White House a win, the truth is that the White House hasn't been making a very strong case to the American people. Those numbers that you showed from this Fox Business poll showed 22% think that Biden policies are actually helping the situation when it comes to rising prices and inflation. And Democrats on the Hill and the president have just not done a good job of selling the American people on this plan. If they did, the pressure on Manchin would be much higher. As it is, though, I think that he's going to be able to push through on this and continue to hold the line.
Leslie, there are other Democrats pushing back on other things. Here are two governors about the mandates.
We don't have it on there for just for the fun of it, sadly. It's on there for a reason. It is my fervent hope that we can lift it at some point responsibly, sooner than later, but we've got to do it responsibly.
Right now, the vaccines are where we need to concentrate, where we need to use our influence over this process is to push those vaccinations. I don't expect any statewide mandates at this point.
They're not alone. You have Colorado, you have Michigan, kind of pushing back on some of administration policy.
Absolutely. I mean, look, every governor wants to run their state with the least amount of interference from the federal government, regardless if there's a D or an R next to the name of the one sitting in the Oval Office. Here in my state of California, however, and we have seen state by state, Bret, when we say we're going to entrust the responsibility of the American people, sadly, there are a lot of American people who not only won't get vaccinated, and that's why many of them don't want a mandate, they don't want to be told what to do, but they also don't want to wear masks. They also don't want to socially distance. And we can't get this virus behind us. We can't help our healthcare workers who are overburdened every time we have a new wave and a new variant. We're lucky this time this variant isn't like Delta. We don't know what the next variant or variants down the road will bring. So, my brother lives in Hawaii, and he is opposite me politically. And he said, they're squeezing me, Les. They're squeezing me. He will not get the vaccine unless he's lying down and forced to for his job. But I understand. Look, I can't stand putting my mask on, but I do it because it's not just about me, and I'm not a child in the aisle at Target stomping my feet because I can't get my Wonder Woman action figure. This is something that we're all supposed to be doing for the greater
Leslie.
good, and for the greater good, and the federal government, the president, has a responsibility for the safety of Americans, and that includes when we have a pandemic.
And obviously some of these governors are feeling the public quickly, Ben.
Just, you can't compare people who are resistant on this to children stamping their feet in toy stores when you have barely over half the people of Georgia, a state that Joe Biden won, by the way, who are vaccinated. That's not going to be the way to convince them to go along with your plans.
All right, I wanted to talk about this New York Times piece. Biden should not run again. He should say he won't, but we will have plenty of time to do that. Panel, thank you so much.